Finding a steady and comfortable seat, your easy seat, whatever that means for you. Maybe the legs are extended, maybe the legs are crossed. We want to make sure that you're really grounding into your mat, sitting nice and tall, allowing the crown of the head to come towards the sky. So we just settle into this practice, maybe taking a moment or two to just set an intention for the practice. Maybe it's simply to be here, maybe it's to let something go. Whatever it is you need in this space, taking this moment to do that now. Keeping in mind as we move through this practice that your body is always your number one teacher. So we have to make sure that we're listening to our bodies. Keeping in mind yoga is about finding our edge, not surpassing it. So with that in mind, let's connect with the breath, such an important part of the practice, an important part of caring for our nervous system. So it's bringing a hand lightly to the lower belly. Don't need to apply any pressure. With yoga breathing, being in and out through the nose, traditional yoga breathing anyway. So if that's new to you and uncomfortable, maybe just giving yourself permission to try it, but also resuming your normal breathing as needed. And making sure that we're breathing throughout the entire practice. If we're not breathing, it isn't yoga. So with our hand lightly on the lower belly, just inhaling through the nose until you feel your lower belly expand. And then exhaling completely through the nose. So using your breath as your guide, as we inhale again through the nose until we feel the lower belly expand, knowing that our lungs are fully inflated, and then exhaling completely. So taking 3 more rounds of breath. In through the nose, sending them all the way down to the base of the belly, and then exhaling completely. Inhaling again, allowing your breath to set the pace. As you feel your lower belly expand, and exhaling completely, and we'll do that one final time. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling completely, and then just allowing your normal breathing to resume. Still sitting nice and tall, making any adjustments in the body as needed. As we exhale, as the chin comes towards the chest, we'll breathe into that space between the shoulders. This is often a great way to check in with the body, see if we're holding tension. Many of us carry a lot of stress here between the shoulders. Continuing to take a few more breaths here. Inhale, fully upright. As we exhale, the right ear towards the right shoulder. Breathing into that space along the left side of the neck. Taking several rounds of breath here, making sure that the shoulder is just staying in its natural position. Not forcing it. We'll inhale back to center. Exhaling the left ear towards the left shoulder. Inhaling back to center. As we inhale, the arms up and overhead. Taking that right wrist to the left palm. See if we can grow an inch or two taller. And we're going to exhale over to the left, using the strength of the core here. Breathing into that space we're creating along the right side of the body. Breathing into that space between each of the ribs. And on the next inhale, coming back to center as we take the left wrist into the right palm. Again, growing an inch or two taller. Exhaling over to the right. So we're going to breathe into that space we're creating between each of the ribs along the left side of the body. Being mindful that both of the hips are staying connected with the mat here. It's not about how far we're bending, it's about creating that space on the left side of the body here. As we inhale back fully upright. On an exhale, we're going to slowly twist towards the left. So that left hand is just coming behind the left hip. Maybe the right hand reaches towards the left knee or the left thigh. The gaze is going towards the left shoulder. We're still sitting nice and tall. Being mindful that we're continuing to breathe here. And on the next inhale, coming back to center. As we exhale over to the right. So again, that right hand is going to come behind the right hip. Left hand is reaching towards that right leg or maybe the right knee. Sitting nice and tall, our gaze is going towards that right shoulder or in the direction of the right shoulder. Spending a few breaths here. So we inhale, head and neck always come last. Back to center, and then exhaling both palms behind the body. So you can just allow the chest to open towards the sky here. Anything that's opening the chest in this way can be a great antidote to symptoms of depression. So sometimes maybe we just need to open the chest a little bit, access our resources. Doesn't mean that it will fully treat depression. Access professionals as needed. But it sometimes can give us a little boost if we're just feeling a bit down or a bit lethargic. So you can stay right here, or if you want to lift the hips off the ground, keeping the hands behind you. The head's coming back gently, being mindful of the neck, that the head's not coming back so far that we're restricting the airway. And we'll exhale, hips coming back onto the mat. As we inhale, slowly walking the hands back to our seated position. And then we're going to roll over onto one of your hips as we come into our tabletop position. So tabletop, We have the knees under the hips, the wrists under the shoulders, nice flat back here. If you have sensitive knees, you can roll the mat up under the knees just to give the knees a little extra cushion, or you can pull in a blanket. We also have some blocks here, the yoga blocks. I prefer the cork blocks just because they're heavier, but they're not a requirement. Blocks just serve the purpose of bringing the floor up a little higher when we're in different postures. We see the different heights. We can have it here, here, or here. And then we also have a strap that we might be using later. If you don't have a yoga strap, you can always use a belt too. So just some props that we may use later. So tops of the feet are on the mat here. As we inhale, we're going to send the hips towards the sky, belly towards the earth, crown of the head is coming towards the sky. As we come into our cow pose. As we exhale, rounding the spine, sending the chin towards the chest as we come into cat. Really creating that nice big flexion like a cat. Inhaling as we send the hips towards the sky, belly towards the earth, crown of the head towards the sky. Using your breath to guide your pace here. So on the exhale, we're rounding the spine. And then on the inhale, we're sending the belly towards the earth. Feel free to take several breaths in either direction. Sometimes one just feels like what the body needs at the moment. Keeping in mind that your body is your number one teacher. We'll do 3 more full rounds of cat-cow at your own pace. Continuing to be mindful of your breathing. And we'll all meet back in our flat back and tabletop here. Finding your balance, your wrists, your knees. We'll find that balance in our right hand and our left knee. And we're going to send that right leg straight behind us. And the left hand is extending straight out in front of us. If this is too much, you can always bring the toes down or even bring the palm down. But we're really engaging our core here. Just looking straight down at the mat, so we're keeping the spine, the neck all right there in line. So we exhale, drawing the elbow and knee towards one another. Inhaling back out. And we'll do that 2 more times as we exhale, drawing the elbow and knee towards one another. Inhaling back out. Once again, exhaling elbow and knee. Inhaling back out. So exhaling, bring the hand and the knee back down to the mat. Again, getting your balance here. Extending out. Do that right arm, left leg. Again, you can keep those toes down or bring the hand down. Listening to your body. We're going to exhale, elbow, knee. Inhaling back out. Exhaling, elbow, knee. Inhaling back out. 2 more times. So exhale, we draw them towards one another. Inhaling back out. And coming back down to the mat. We're going to tuck our toes Spreading our fingers nice and wide. So we push the hips up towards the sky. Coming into downward facing dog here. Our first downward dog in our practice today. So allowing yourself to move. Maybe pedaling the legs, one and then the other. Maybe bending the knees deeply. Allowing yourself to settle in whenever you're ready. So the spine's nice and long. I'm going to send that right leg towards the sky. As we exhale, drawing that right knee towards the chest, bringing that right foot to sit between the hands. So this is a place where maybe it would help to have your blocks. So keeping in mind, you have the 3 different options for height. So right knee is stacked over the right ankle. Left foot is settling down onto the mat, the toes coming slightly out to the side of the mat. We're going to inhale up into warrior 1. So our shoulders are coming towards the front of our mats. We're nice and long through that left leg, keeping our right knee over the right ankle. You can keep your hands to your side and inhale them up to cactus arms. I tend to do steeple, which is just hands clasped together. It just feels best in my body. Let's see what your body needs here. Making sure you're breathing. We'll do 4 more full rounds of breath here. And that next inhale, bringing that left foot where it's near or parallel the back of the mat. Still have our right knee over our right ankle. And our arms are coming the length of our mat. And warrior 2. And send your gaze out over those right fingertips. Continuing to breathe here. And we'll exhale that left palm on the back of the left thigh. Inhaling, right palm up and overhead. And maybe our gaze finds those right fingertips, or maybe we just keep looking forward. And into our exalted warrior here. So a few more breaths here. Inhaling back to our warrior 2 arms. As we exhale that right forearm to the right thigh, we're going to extend that left arm over our left ear. Breathing here, this extended side angle. And then as we exhale, our palms are either going to come back to the blocks or back to the mat, whichever feels best. That right foot still is between. Left knee is coming down to the mat. And if you have your blocks here, maybe you use them as you come to sit towards that left hip. So we're extended out through our right foot. And if you have a block or a blanket, you may notice that your right hip is floating. we're just going to put that right block, or a block on that right side, right under that right hip. Like I said, it could be a blanket, but keeping those right toes flexed. When we keep that, or the right toes towards the sky, the foot is flexed. When we keep that foot flexed, we're helping to keep this right leg fully engaged. We'll inhale, arms up and overhead. As we exhale, think about drawing your chest towards that right foot. When you can't come any further forward, just allowing yourself to relax your head towards your knee. This head to knee pose. We inhale, walking the palms back so the torso is fully upright. We're going to use the palms as we come back up onto the left knee. The right knee is bent here. If you're using your blocks, just walk them back to the front of your mat. Coming back in to our tabletop position. Tucking our toes again as we come up into our downward facing dog. But in mind here, moving however you need. Bending the knees, walking it out. Maybe you can come a little side to side. Spine is nice and long. And when you're settled here, we're going to root down the right foot. So we extend our left towards the sky. As we exhale, we're drawing that left knee towards the chest, bringing the left foot to sit between the hands right around the mat. And you can always tent your fingers if you need to, so the palms don't have to be flat down. See what your body needs. We're going to allow those right toes to just settle down with the foot. Right toes moving slightly towards the right side of the mat. Left knees are the left ankle, shoulders coming parallel to the front of your mat. So we use the strength of our core, inhaling up into warrior one on the opposite side. And again, you can leave the hands down, you can inhale them up overhead. See what feels best for you here. Take a few more breaths in warrior one. So in yoga, what we do on one side, we like to do on the other, striving for balance in the body. So we exhale, that right foot is coming near parallel the back of our mat. We're still keeping that left knee over the left ankle. Arms are extending the length of the mat as we send our gaze out over our left fingertips in warrior two. Breathing here in warrior two. Exhaling, that right palm's coming down the back of the right thigh. Inhaling the left palm overhead. Gaze can follow or gaze can stay straight ahead. Whatever feels best. As we come into our exalted warrior. Spending a few breaths here. Inhaling back to our warrior two arms. As we exhale, that left forearm to left thigh, extending that right arm over our right ear, coming into our extended side angle. Breathing here. On the next exhale, framing that left foot, allowing the right knee to come down to the mat, and walking back. So what you may find, maybe on one side your hips were right on your heel, and maybe on the other side, maybe you find it's just not there. Especially if you have a little knee tenderness, but just want to show you variation from what we're doing on the other side. So you can keep those left toes towards the sky as our left foot is flexed, keeping that left foot fully engaged. So we inhale up, exhaling, drawing our chest towards the left foot, exhaling as our head comes towards that left knee. So we inhale, walking the torso back to an upright position, so you can use the blocks here. We come back to the left knee or the left ankle. We're going to bring it back to tabletop once again. So hands are here on the mat. Coming over onto one hip on the other. Sending your legs out long, so just the length of your mat. And this might be a good time just to make sure that as you're sending your legs out long, are you also giving yourself plenty of space behind your hips for your torso, so that as we work our way down to our final rest of our practice, that your head is supported by your mat. So here with our feet flexed, we're going to inhale the arms up overhead as we exhale, drawing our chest towards our feet. Maybe you reach to the feet, maybe to the legs. See what feels best. And when you can't come any further forward, exhaling your head towards the knees. So a variation where we're doing both knees, like we just did each knee, the head toward the knee. We inhale, walking the hands back, up the legs, torso is nice and tall, allowing the legs to come wide here. So with the legs wide, we're going to inhale the arms up and overhead as we exhale over to the left. So that right arm is reaching towards the left toes. Maybe it doesn't go quite there, that's okay. And the left arm is just coming alongside the left leg or towards that, keeping in mind that this is your practice. Setting this time aside to care for yourself. Inhale, using the strength of the core as we exhale over to the right. So the left hand is reaching towards those right toes. Right arm is just coming alongside her right leg. Breathing here. On that next inhale, coming back to center. As we exhale, bringing our legs back to center. Arms coming back to their natural position. We're going to allow that left leg to cross over to the right. Keeping that right foot flexed, just so we're keeping both legs fully engaged. So maybe that left foot sits fully on the ground beside that right leg, maybe it doesn't. Most importantly, are you listening to your body here? We're going to inhale the arms up and overhead as we exhale over to the left. So that right arm maybe reaching towards the left thigh, allowing that left hand to come behind the left hip, sending that gaze towards our left shoulder, making sure we're still breathing. This is a variation of the twist we did at the beginning of our practice. Just engaging the hips a little more. Inhaling back to center. As we exhale, arms coming down, sending our legs out, just shaking them out. We've had the leg bent for a little while. And then once again with those legs extended on an inhale, right leg crossing over the left foot is flexed. So we're keeping that left leg engaged. Inhaling the arms up and overhead as we exhale towards the right. So right hand coming behind that right hip. The left arm maybe reaching towards the right thigh, or maybe it feels good just to fully extend that left arm. So our gaze is coming towards that right shoulder in the direction of the right shoulder. We're still sitting nice and tall, making sure we can breathe fully here. We're going to inhale back to center as we exhale, extending the legs out, arms come down, shaking those legs out. Again, checking in that you have room behind your torso here to fully, or behind your hips for your torso. We're going to come down to our mats with some control. So maybe your legs are bent, maybe you're holding on, maybe you just want to try a little variation of boat pose, which we'll try in another practice. You can leave your feet on the mat, but we just don't want to just drop on our mat. So using the strength of the core as we slowly come down on our backs, on our mat. From here, we're going to extend that left leg long. So if you have your strap here, or a belt, if you don't have a strap, a nice long belt will do. We're going to bring around the midpoint of that strap to the ball of the right foot. Taking each side of the strap into opposite hands, and the elbows are just on the mat here. So our right foot is extended towards the sky. We're not forcing it here. We're just using the strap to guide our leg. So you should not be experiencing pain here. We're just breathing in to that release along the back side of our leg. We do a lot of repetitive motion, running, walking, biking. Our IT band, which extends down the back of the leg, and get really tight. So this can be a helpful way to release that. And just playing around with it, notice when you draw your toes a little closer to the body, you can feel it a little more. Just coming to where your body needs. Then we're going to take both sides of the strap into the right hand. As we exhale, making sure you have some space to the right side. So as we exhale, that right leg is just coming out to the right side, still holding on to both sides of our strap with the right hand here. Taking a few more breaths here. Inhale back to center. We're going to take both. both sides of the strap then into the left hand. As we allow that right leg to roll over the body, using our strap as a guide. And it's going to be a good time to use that right hand to massage into that right hip. You may notice some tenderness, some tightness. And just noticing it, not judging it. A few more breaths here. We'll inhale back to center. As we exhale, hugging that right knee towards the chest, just drawing it towards us. Maybe moving the ankle in circles in both directions if that feels good in your body. And then we're going to extend that right leg long, doing the same thing on the left side. So grabbing your strap, finding somewhere around the midpoint. It doesn't have to be exactly. Bring that strap around the ball of the left foot. Our right leg is extended, right foot flexed. Each side of the strap is in the opposite, or in each hand, not the opposite. It is taking both sides of the strap, elbows relaxed on the mat. Again, just kind of playing around, seeing how when you draw the toes a little closer to the body, you can really feel that. But we're not forcing it, just kind of seeing where it needs to be. Breathing into that space we're creating along the back side of the left leg. And we're going to take both sides of the strap into our left hand. Extending on an exhale to the left side. Trying to keep the opposite hip when you do this on the mat. So maybe you bring your right hand to your right hip, just making sure it doesn't roll along with the left leg. Couple more breaths here. Inhale back to center, taking both sides of the strap into that right hand as we roll the left leg straight on over to the right side. And again, maybe taking this opportunity to massage that left hip. Notice any tenderness, taking care of that here. Spend a few more breaths here. We'll inhale back to center. As we exhale, releasing the strap. Drawing the chest, the knee towards the chest. Chest is staying on the mat. Just hugging it in. As we exhale, extending that left leg long. And on that next inhale, drawing both knees towards the chest. You can hug them or back of the thighs, whatever feels best. And maybe you just roll a little here, noticing the lower back in contact with your mat, giving yourself a little sacral massage. And then whenever you're ready, we'll come to stillness. We're going to send both soles of the feet straight towards the sky. Using the strength of our core as we slowly lower our legs to the mat. When you get close to the floor, see if you can hover just a little, and then go ahead and let them extend, allowing the arms to relax, palms coming open, or maybe they're coming to your belly, whatever feels best. Feet are relaxing in a comfortable position as we come into the final rest of our practice, our Shavasana. Just allowing yourself to lay here, allowing the body to integrate the experience allowing yourself to reset and recharge before moving on with the rest of your day. So allowing your normal breathing to resume if it feels comfortable, allowing the eyes to close here. Whenever you're ready, rolling over onto that right side, making your way back to your easy seat where we first began our practice today. Maybe the eyes are still gently closed. Whatever feels best in your body, sitting nice and tall. And we'll inhale those palms up and overhead one last time. As we exhale, palms to the forehead, asking for kind thoughts. Allowing the thumbs to brush the lips, asking for compassionate words. And eventually allowing those palms to rest at the heart, asking for a loving heart. I thank you for sharing in this practice with me. Namaste.